Hi, it's Anthony. I've got a few ideas to upgrade the social media presence of the community food bank. And the idea is really to put a brighter spotlight on four groups of people. The first to be volunteers, which is really the heart of the whole enterprise. The second would be the donors who make things happen. The third would be the clients, and those are going to be the most touching stories that we're able to share. And then finally, putting a spotlight on the key members of the community food bank family, ranging from the person who's cooking lunch in the kitchen to members of the board of directors. So my idea is really simple to showcase these four groups. Basically, what I suggest that you all do is do interviews on site with members of these four groups. Now the interviews are really simple because it involves just two things. Number one, roll a short video in which you ask very specific questions, and I've got the questions right here for you, so nobody has to think about a thing. The second thing is just take a photo. That's it. Short video plus a photo, text those to me, and then I'll do the rest on my end to produce the materials that will work for us online or even on print. So there's a couple key benefits. One is that staff members will no longer have to write out a caption to send me via text with the person's name, their organization, the story. All of that burden is gone. And you all are busy. You're on the front lines of making this stuff happen. So again, just roll the video, take the picture, send that stuff to me. I will extract the story from what you send me and be able to produce the materials that will work well on our social media. Another thing is that by capturing stories on the front lines, you all are going to provide, I think, a lot better content in terms of storytelling than what I've even been able to provide for you in the first few years. So let me give you some examples of how this might work. First of all, with volunteers. So here's a real short list of questions, and they pretty much all have the same questions no matter which group you're interviewing. The first one is simply asking them to spell their name, because I need that on my end, because people spell names all types of different ways and I don't want to get it wrong. So just asking them to clearly spell their name at the beginning is question number one by default at all interviews. Number two, ask them what is their position in the organization. So if they're from Amazon, what is it you do? What's your job title? And sometimes they'll tell you. You might even ask how long they've been there, but whatever. Question number one, spell the name. Number two, what's their position in the organization? Number three is just simply asking them, what are they doing at the community food bank that day? And most of them, and by the way, you're probably going to identify the spokesperson from the group, and they usually always will tell you, oh, you got to go talk to Anna or Brian or Tyrone or whoever. So you find that person, and that person almost always has exactly what they want to say prepared, or at least they're so good that off the top of their head they give you wonderful caption in 2, 3, 4 sentences, and that's all that we need. So ask them to spell their name, what's their position of the organization, what are they doing at the community food bank on that day, and then the fourth question is just open-ended, and that's simply, is there anything else you would like to share? So that's it. I will actually print these questions out for you so that you can have them on site and actually just read them if you wish. So, from there, the video interview itself might be 30 seconds. It might be 2 minutes tops, but it's not going to be super long. And the next thing you want to do after that is just take a photo of that volunteer group. And I know Gina does a really good job of getting group photos together. That works perfect for this. So that way I've got a photo that I can post on Facebook that I'll format, I'll brand it with our logo and do other cool stuff. But then I'll have that caption, and I will get that caption from the video that is sent to me. So that makes it really easy. Another group would be clients. Those who come into the food bank looking for food or clothing or whatever. 3 simple questions here. Number one, please spell your name. There's that. Number 2, ask them to share about why they are at the community food bank today. and they're probably going to tell you their story at that point. You know, they're coming in because they need diapers and such for twins, or, you know, their campsite burned down, and, you know, just drawing on a couple recent stories. And then again, the last question, is there anything else you would like to share? So name, why are they there, anything else to share. That'll give us some wonderful content, really the heart and soul content to share on social media. And I'm getting ready for the North Texas Giving Day to look at the marketing and branding for that. But I think the client stories are the ones that will probably roll out as front and center, and maybe even feature on our profile for the Community Foundations of Texas. The next group would be donors. Again, question number 1, spell your first name and last name. Number 2, what's your position in the organization? Number 3, please share about what you're donating today. And then finally, number 4, is there anything else that you would like to add? The fourth group is the Community Food Bank family. So that, again, could be anybody who's working there. You could even put the people who are participating in the programs that Reverend Harris oversees, if you wish. So just doing short little profiles on who's doing what at the food bank, from Amber the intern to Dr. Morrison, chairman of the board of directors. Any of those would work great for this. Questions for that, spell your first name and last name. Number 2, what is your connection to the Community Food Bank? And number 3, is there anything else you'd like to share? So if you're interviewing board members, don't ask how to spell their name, but we'll figure that out on our end. So that's really, really simple. Simple questions for 4 different groups that will produce a lot of social media content. So I suggest a team of 6 people in the organization to delegate this responsibility to. At the top, I'll go ahead and put Regina and Rudy, since they see so much of what goes on at the food bank and they have access to stories that other team members might not have. We've got Reverend Harris, of course. We've got Gina, who does a wonderful job with social media and just getting us that content. We could put Steph and whoever's working at the front desk, and Linda as well. So those are 6 people just off the top of my head that I think would do a wonderful job conducting these short, very simple interviews. And just think of it this way, if you had just 3 of the 6 sending me 1 feature story per day, that's 15 stories over the course of a week, or 60 over the course of a month, or over 700 over the course of a year. That's a lot of content. And it's a lot of content that will require very little effort on your part, other than just rolling that short video with those simple questions, taking a picture, texting it to me. Now on my end, I'm creating a lot of work because I got to process all of those hundreds of stories, but that's what I do and would love to do that. So, that's really it in a nutshell. It's as simple as that. So I would love for you to begin exploring the process of asking these questions, creating the video, sending it to me, and I'll see what the quality of the content that I get on my end, and we'll see what I can produce. One huge tip though when it comes to recording the videos, please make your videos landscape, sideways, versus portrait. If you make it portrait, then when it comes to me producing the video myself, there's very little I can do to make it look like it's good video. So always go sideways. You'll pick up a lot more visual real estate with that. And by the way, some of your videos, if they're good enough in terms of the quality of the video and also the audio, I might be able to use those in addition to the photo that you send me. So that could be cool. We could actually multiply our social media effectiveness from that standpoint. So those are the tips that I have for you in terms of interviewing those 4 groups of people with very simple questions that will produce, I think, a gold mine of wonderful social media activity that will show how the Community Food Bank is feeding families and feeding hope.